Can business litigation be a profit center for businesses? The short answer is yes. We're going to dig into the details of the how and the why here. And maybe you're thinking about using this tactic, or maybe you just want to understand it from the other side of being a business is often called to defend this. Either way, we're going to give you the basic idea about how some folks use business litigation as a potential profit center. And we're going to be talking a very, very specific case here, and then we'll also be talking generally. So let's just jump into it. So obviously in business litigation, you have winners and you have losers. The winner usually takes a money judgment. They take a certain dollar amount that then they have to collect. But through collection procedures, if the defendant, the person who is on the other side of the lawsuit, has assets, you can usually get to their money. So it can be profitable. This is used in many different ways. Let's jump into a specific case where this is alleged to be happening right now, and then we can zoom forward and talk about some other cases we see. And all of this will give you a better idea as a business owner and a business leader of what's going on out there, what's possible, and potentially how to protect and defend yourself. Okay, so this Reuters article, which is going to be linked below for your review, talks about Fox News and a company that they're in litigation with, this elections company that they're in litigation with. It is claimed by Fox News as part of their court filings, according to the article, that the company is using their lawsuit with Fox News as a potential way to raise money. So what's essentially happening here is this Smartmatic company is out looking to raise money. Fox News's allegation is that Smartmatic is citing to the litigation and their potential money from the litigation as part of the capital raising process. Now, here's where this gets interesting. When you raise money for a company, you often do have to interface with the investors. You typically have to give them documents that talk about the company, its business, its financials, and what's likely in the future. So it is probably the type of documents they're talking about here. One of the things referenced in those documents where the company is trying to raise capital is likely their lawsuit with Fox News. Now, this makes sense for a couple of reasons. You usually want to talk about any material litigation in your disclosure documents. So this potentially would be material litigation because it's important to the company, and it appears that the dollar amounts are going to make a difference to the bottom line. You also want to explain that to your potential investors, usually, in terms of dollars and cents. What does it mean to them? What will it do to their investment? What will change if the lawsuit goes well or if it goes bad? And so what you're going to see is that you would typically put that in the documents. And that seems to be what's happening here. It just so happens Smartmatic and Fox News are in litigation right now. And Smartmatic's in the process of also raising money. So they're going to want to tell investors. And they really need to tell investors from two different sides. One, it's potentially important to the overall financial picture. But number two, these lawsuits typically have claims and counterclaims, right? One person makes a claim against somebody, and then the other person comes back and blames the first person. This is almost standard in many litigations. So if this is what's happening here, Smartmatic probably not only is trying to get money out of Fox News, but Fox News has probably also brought some types of claims and issues against Smartmatic. Well, this is a risk to the investors in Smartmatic because they need to understand what's going on vis-a-vis Fox News. They need to understand whether this litigation is going to impact their investment. And if you talk to almost any litigator, they'll tell you they can't tell you what the outcome of the litigation is going to be, right? They don't know until they get in front of the judge and the jury. And in fact, lawyers generally can't just give you a guarantee of success. So they're not going to know, right? They've got the uncertainty of going to trial for a dice roll. And so they don't know what's going to happen. And so you need to put this in your investor documents so the investors know that this dice roll is happening. You wouldn't want to be an investor in a company that was involved in important litigation and not know about it. So what I'm guessing is probably in this document is Smartmatic not only said, we've got this money potentially coming in from Fox News if we win, but it may also say something to the effect of, if we lose, we're going to lose this claim. We're obviously going to anger Fox News in the long term no matter what, but we may be stuck paying some of Fox News' attorney's fees or other things depending on the nature of the contract. So if we lose, it could be very bad for business and for the value. So you as an investor would want to know that. So I'm not at all surprised that this is in the investor documents. Now, I promised you at the beginning we'd talk about some other ways that people make profits off of litigation. And what I'm thinking about right now is these folks called patent trolls. And they're out there. There's a whole cottage industry of businesses or individuals who hold patents. And they wait for other companies, largely large companies, to use that patent in some way, shape, or form. And then they will bring a patent infringement case. A similar thing can happen with copyrights and trademarks. So a lot of these companies sit there in the offing waiting for something to develop so that they can then jump in and try to get money back. Now, when you're on the receiving end of this, when you're the company who is potentially getting sued, you then are looking at potentially an enormous litigation bill, right? You're going to have to be writing checks to your lawyers. So a lot of companies aren't interested in that. That brings a lot of companies to the settlement table where numbers can be negotiated and worked out. And so a lot of these people call them patent trolls make their money off of looking for patents, looking for potential infringements, either contacting companies pre-litigation or filing a suit and then contacting the companies and saying, hey, you can buy your way out of this. And that's often what it looks like, is businesses end up buying their way out of the litigation. And it can make a lot of logical economic sense. While we don't want to support people out there randomly taking strikes at companies and potentially trying to take their money away, what we can do also, though, is look at the math. And so a lot of businesses look at the math and they say, okay, this company has made a claim. It's going to cost me, say, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to litigate this claim away because I've got to get good lawyers involved. I've got to have multiple meetings with the judges. There's going to be briefings, filings. I can pay $30,000, $40,000 to make this thing go away. Or the patent troll will slide an offer across the table, usually early in the process, and say, hey, we don't have to litigate. You don't have to pay that $30,000 or $40,000. Just give me $10,000 and I'll go away. And this becomes an area of debate in many large companies. Do you just pay off things like this and focus on your core business and keep moving forward? Or do you potentially pay more to litigate than what the claim is because you're setting the bar and the principle for the future? Right now, other people know that you'll litigate. And if you litigate through, even if it costs you more than what you could have settled for, then people will start to know, and you'll get a reputation in the market as somebody who defends everything. That makes it less likely for somebody to come after you. So you've got to figure out what's true for you, which system works better for you. But there's a lot of ways to make money off of litigation. The other thing we'll see now coming up as the economy continues to soften and slow is a lot of companies will now start using litigation as a way to try to balance their budget. There's an old feeling, at least among corporate lawyers and business lawyers, that when the economy goes down, litigation goes up. And the reason given essentially is that when people are out there making money and good things are happening and the business is growing, you're less likely to get upset about a particular deal or a particular something that happened to your company. But when the economy slows and you're not as busy and money's not coming in from your core business the way it once was, now you're looking for ways to make money. And some of that might be existing contracts and agreements and finding issues with them and then potentially either launching litigation or threatening the loss of litigation to reach some type of settlement. So obviously we don't encourage anybody to do anything unethical, so meet with your lawyer, see what the limits are. When I say threaten litigation, I'm not necessarily saying using it in an illegal way. I'm saying more about preparing to get ready for a lawsuit and reaching out to the other side for a settlement option, which is fairly standard business practice. If you have questions or comments, go ahead and drop them below. Don't put anything confidential. Other people might see your comments. If you're a new subscriber here, please say hi. I'd love to hear from you. And then also in those comments, let me know you're here. And whether you're a new subscriber or old subscriber, I do always appreciate your ideas for future videos and topics. So if you have any of those, drop them below as well. All right, all. I'll see you for another video soon.